Well, what's going on, guys? It's Mithirilreview, and what I'm going to be doing today is just like a year-end review. If you guys hear Mo Boy in the background squeaking his toy, he's in the background squeaking his toy. But yeah, just wanted to talk about like this last year, things that have been going on, just some highlights, kind of just like a recap, and then also just talk about what's been like, what are we looking forward to in the future. Honestly, going into 2022, I was whooped. Like I was spent. 2021 was big and exhausting. We did so much stuff. Like me and Philip were like it would be like a monthly schedule of like all the stuff we're doing, from content, new music, merch, website building, EPKs, like some shows, like, and then to top it all off, we ended, with trying to, with like creating Myth Coffee, with doing a Christmas special, like all of this stuff. There really was no pause going into 2022. 2021 was just packed. It's a bit of exhaustion, but also like our goals shifted like really immensely. And so going into the year, not only did we have like our goals really shift in terms of like, hey, where are we at and where do we need to go, and like what are the things we need to do to get there. One of the biggest thing was actually live shows and doing live performances. And so for me, that was a huge weakness, like a weak area for me as an artist. Like I not like doing live shows. My voice was not very good. I couldn't play any live instruments. By the end of this year, I wanted to be at a place where I could not only enjoy performing, but have the skills to be able to actually perform well. But going into the year, honestly, I think I think it was like November, December, January, me and Jake, Serial Fuente, we had a lot of jam sessions, a lot of free hangout time, just creating tracks, having fun. And before we knew it, we had a project, we had Yoru. And so we kind of just rolled with it. It was kind of something that was unexpected, unintentional, but it was awesome. And what was cool about Yoru was honestly, like for me to be able to see, like, do I have what it takes? Like, do I have what it takes to like actually create a really incredible experience for someone or for listeners, from everything from content to music, having this cohesive style, me honestly testing out some like brand new waters in terms of taking like a style and inspiration, a vibe that like I'm inspired by, and testing out like different ways to sing, different ways to do this, that, and the other, transitioning that into this experience in terms of merch, in terms of branding, in terms of content, in terms of like the live or the release party we threw, that was literally bringing people in to like the setting we were envisioning the album to be in, and then bringing people in onto Suede, the music video, where like that's actually the release party, and that release party representing literally what happens in the project. And so, whoa, like it was a ton, and we killed it, like we crushed it, and it was like an incredible experience because I learned a ton. But I think when we originally, like, we thought we were gonna release by February, ended up not even releasing till May, and so then by the time May hits and we're still trying to push it into June, do a show, a little backyard show, and next thing I know, like half the year is just gone, all just focusing on one project, and which it was good, but at least like going into the year was not what I was expecting, let alone never really having a break from like a break where I don't have any expectations, no agendas, nothing they need to get done, no projects to finish, anything like that. And so, Wild was kind of just this, okay, here's this cutesy little single I've been, having in my back pocket over the last couple months. Like, let's just, let's get that out. Kind of a nice little rinse and refresh from Yoru. And then kind of all this time, we were still working on, not doing any shows yet, but still working on learning how to play guitar, learning how to sing. Shout out to Ali Welchel, my vocal coach. What was cool was then like Get With You was kind of this like eureka as I learned, oh, my voice can do this. Like I can belt. Get With You just kind of erupted and came out of nowhere, and we were like, okay, we have to release this. Like this has to be out as soon as possible. And so we kind of just shoved that release through. And so that was all leading into what ended up being the back half of the year of actually me getting into a band, or getting a band together between me, Luke De Lorenzo, a lot of you probably know Luke, and then Allie Welchel, Luke's girlfriend. All like both of them were like incredibly talented artists in their own right, but each of us needed a band to play with and do live shows, and each of us played different instruments. So what we ended up doing was having a band that kind of plays musical chairs, and just depending on whose set it is, take turns playing each other's music. Our sets and our style of our music is different enough that we didn't really have to worry about like distinguishing ourselves from one another. Like it's just pretty obvious that like this is Mithril Blues music, this is Allie's music, this is Luke's music, which was fun. And then also it's like my best friends. God really, I think, really starting in August, just started to really press me and press those around me, especially Philip. Like, how do we as artists, like, yeah, we could do the thing, typical thing, and just try to create this awesome brand, awesome music that everybody falls in love with, and wow, we're just so awesome. Or we could do something that's bigger than ourselves. The question is, how do we take something that's entertainment and actually make it about other people? Like, how do we actually go deeper with other people? How do we like bless people? How do we allow people to have an experience that actually impacts their life, instead of it just being something where it just is all about us and come see how awesome we are. And I still don't know what that looks like, honestly. Like, it's 4 months later, end of the year later, I still don't have an answer. But that's been the question we've been really pressing into. And so over the last 4 months doing shows, it was really cool. And then ultimately, I actually just thought about this as I'm sitting down to shoot the video. Like, what's really interesting, I'll show you guys a little clip. It was about almost a year exactly, of when we shot the Christmas special, is when we did this last show. And just the growth in voice and my guitar playing ability, like now there's 2 songs I can play and sing at the same time. Which, for anybody who's ever been on that process, like, like that is a big process. Me and Christina, we went to Mexico this last end of November, into the beginning of December. We went with her mother-in-law, and that was like super fun. It wasn't Hawaii, but it was really fun. And especially be able to go with her mother-in-law, Mary, my mother, who I've never really had any extended time to like just hang out with her, and so to be able to do that with Christina was just like a huge blessing. And honestly, when we went to Hawaii, which a lot of those, we went to Hawaii last year, the honey clips, the Get With You lyrical video, that's all shots from Hawaii on our trip. And that trip was from me as a husband, like eye-opening, because all of a sudden I saw my wife become this person I've never met before. And we've been married 4 years as of this last December 15th. And last year I saw this whole new person. And so Mexico was like, okay, we can't afford Hawaii again, but we got to get back to that. So all that said, like, that was kind of like this high points of this last year. There's probably some stuff I'm missing, but moving into this next year, me and Philip have been talking a lot. We've been praying a lot, and Myth Coffee is kind of been hanging out. Content's kind of been hanging out. A big part of that was just bandwidth. There's just a lot of things that we wanted to do this last year. I wanted to do. I just did not have the bandwidth for like social media content. Just like don't have the bandwidth, and honestly, I was just tired. So, what's really exciting? Philip, my manager, is actually going to be now an owner of Myth Coffee, and going to be running a lot of the backside, the technical side of that. And then Christina, my wife, is going to come on as social media manager for Mithril Blue for Myth Coffee. So that's hopefully going to free me up to do a lot of the things that I need to do, that I'm best at, that I'm honestly passionate about. We're going to be pushing Myth Coffee, a lot of Myth. We're bringing back Myth Mondays. I have a lot of things that I love talking about, whether it's like, artist creation, brand creation, like, or things like, I do honestly have the best idea for a Pokemon MMO. 100% original, and it's gonna be, if Nintendo wants to pay me, I'll give them the rights. But like, I want to talk about these things. I want to talk about the new anime or new TV shows that come out. Is there a space for that? Is the questions that I'm asking? Is there a space for me to talk about my journey with my spirituality, with my faith? To talk about things that I'm learning, going on in my marriage, things that I'm learning as I'm creating music. I'm really now listening, meditating on what God would speak to and through me. All these different things. Is there a space for that? It's just the question that I'm asking. So if you guys have any ideas, things that you would like to hear me talk about, put in the comments section below. But those are going to be the big questions for this year. So we're excited. We're really expectant about what this year could be. What's really cool now, though, is instead of trying to like do all this grunt work, like build a brand, we have so many already working parts that we don't really have to. It doesn't take a lot of time to upkeep. So now we get to ask a lot of questions. Like, I don't need to focus. So like this whole last year was focusing on singing and guitar and performing, and we put so much time into that. Like, I don't need, sure, like still do exercises, still I still have a ton of room to grow, but I don't have to be as intentional. It doesn't take up as much bandwidth as it used to. Same thing with putting out a song. Doesn't take as much energy. Putting out content doesn't take as much energy. So now we just get to ask a lot of questions. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. But that's where we're going to be moving in this next year. How do we impact the world for something greater? I think is the ultimate question. Yeah. Anyway, guys, if you're still watching all the way to this point, thank you. Be on the lookout for more content coming, especially into this new year. Take care. Love you.